Hello everyone, my name is Zahra Alumari and my research focus area is finance. From this topic, I wanted to explore the rebirth of Perth City through the first gold booms and how it transformed from a settlement town into a rich city. Before going further into the topic, I looked at the book The Culture of Building by Howard Davis to see his point of view regarding financing buildings. I have quoted some of his sayings which I find very interesting and can actually apply to Perth City. In the book, he states that understanding the past and traditional practice can shed light on improving the present. He believes that buildings represent a good part of ongoing economic production. He also described buildings as an instrument toward gaining money. How does that apply to Perth City? Well, Western Australia has a long and rich history that includes unique Indigenous culture, European exploration, colonial settlement, and post-war migration and growth. Unlike New South Wales and Tasmania, which were settled primarily as penal colonies, the establishment of a colony at the Swan River in 1829 was largely in response to enthusiastic marketing by Captain James Stirling of opportunities for business and profits. At first, the city served as the colony's functional port for transport. However, what really brought wealth to the colony was the gold rush of the 1890s, which resulted in a population explosion in Perth. The discovery of gold in WA carved the way for an industry that has contributed to the growth and development of the city we know today. Gold mining has been an important part of the state's economy for more than a century, and it continues to play an important role in the development and growth of the state. Due to the West Australian mining booms, Perth became a hub for large mining operations. As a result, new waves of immigration took place to fill out the gaps in a mining workforce. During these years, Perth prospered economically, demographically, and physically as it gained more professionals and various field experts, including architects. To cope with the new population's demand, infrastructure was developed relatively quickly. One of the most significant buildings that came out as a result of the gold rush were hotels. Many hotels were built to accommodate these workers. And that's why I wanted to focus on hotels, specifically on how the gold rush led to Western Australia's hotel boom. From this question, I came up with a framework that summarizes the different stages of my research, starting from the gold rush and how it led to investments. The more investments you'll create, the more jobs you will have. The more jobs available, the more workers or migrants will come. The more people, the more demand for accommodation facilities such as hotels. Hotels will then create economic, historical, cultural, aesthetic, and social value. And the more value you will have, the more investments you make. It's basically like a cycle. There were a few gold rushes in Western Australia, such as the Kimberley Gold Rush, which took place in 1885, the Yilgarn Gold Rush in 1887, the Murchison Gold Rush in 1891, the Coolgardie Gold Rush in 1892, and lastly the Kalgoorlie Gold Rush, which took place in 1893. One of the successful investors that played a major role in Perth's development was a man called John D. Bond. He is an American entrepreneur and mining investor born in New Jersey, USA. He migrated to Australia to try his hands on gold mining and built his fortune in the goldfields. D. Bond invested all over Australia and built his wealth on many buildings. In 1892, he came to Western Australia, settling first in Coolgardie, where he became convinced of the first gold-bearing potential of the new field. He went to invest in several business ventures. He then invested in real estate in Perth, buying land mostly along St. George's Terrace and owned mining interest in the goldfields. He also built two hotels in Perth, first the Palace Hotel and then the Melbourne Hotel. I looked at three different hotels which were built during the Gold Rush era, however, I will only focus on one today. When I was searching for hotels built during the Gold Rush era, the first thing that came up was the Melbourne Hotel. This hotel was opened in 1897 during a hive of building activity in Perth brought about by the 1890s gold rush. It was the preferred choice of lodging for businessmen and tourists. The hotel is a Federation free classical style building that was built and owned by entrepreneur businessman John D. Bond, as mentioned before. The Melbourne Hotel demonstrated the confidence and opulence of hotels built during the first gold boom in Perth. The stunning and ornate architectural elements of the era, such as the elegant first floor balcony cantilevered over the pavement on both streets. Another thing is the grand staircase, the lift, the high ceilings, and the grand facades. All these show the importance of hotels to the expanding city population and ever increasing trade from country visitors. What makes this building so special is the fact that it hardly changed in appearance since it was built. In 2017, the hotel was closed and underwent through refurbishment, which transformed it into a boutique hotel. The refurbishment gave the hotel a finished clean cut and sophisticated style. Dark plaster wall angular lines and shades of grey gave the contemporary rooms a more business feel, while accents of leather and wood add a touch of warmth. Although the interior has been refurbished, the hotel still features some of the beautifully aged walls of the 1897 structure, as you can see in these interior photographs. As a result, it turned into a modern boutique hotel bursting with vibrancy but still pays homage to its long and important history. I also wanted to look at the value of the hotel today. Even though the building was built many years ago, it is still doing very well financially. For a double room, it costs from $170 in low seasons and from $280 in high seasons. I looked at other modern hotels in Perth and compared the prices between them and the Melbourne Hotel. For example, the Duxton Hotel, which is a five-star hotel built in 1997, has a price of $160 per night, according to TripAdvisor. This shows how historic buildings are valued today and are able to support the economy. I want to conclude my presentation with a very beautiful quote from the Heritage Perth website that states, "Heritage is about things from the past which are valued enough today to save for tomorrow." Thank you.